I told about concurrency and then advantages of concurrency and disadvantages of using concurrency. So as you all know, when multiple transactions are executed simultaneously, then that is the example of concurrency. And why we allow concurrency in our system? First, for the optimal utilization of the resources so that we can increase the throughput of the system. And second one, we can reduce the average waiting time of the transactions, and in this way we can also reduce the response time of transactions. These are the advantages of using concurrency. Now, when we allow concurrency in our system, then there are various types of the problems occurs in the system, and we have to avoid that problems through concurrency control. So disadvantages of concurrency. First problem, dirty read problem or temporary update problem. If any transactions read the uncommitted value which is produced by another transaction, then that is the example of dirty read. Then unrepeatable read problem. Second one is phantom read problem. And fourth one is lost update problem. Update of one transaction is overridden by another transaction. That is the example of last update problem. And last one is incorrect summary problem. If you write any program to find out average sum of any attribute, then if you allow write operations simultaneously, then there occurs an incorrect summary problem, and we have to avoid that problem also through concurrency control. Now, today you all are going to learn about schedules. What is the meaning of schedule? A schedule transaction schedule. In terms of transaction schedule, so schedule is a set of instructions in chronological order in which instructions of concurrent transactions are executed. So schedule represents the sequence of instructions of concurrent transactions which are executed. It means that we represent the order of instructions or sequence of instructions, and that is called schedule. There are two types of the schedule. One is serial schedule and another one is non-serial schedule. We classify schedule in two parts. First one is serial schedule. In serial schedule, interleaving of execution is not allowed. When one transaction finishes, then only you can start second transactions. So this is the example of serial schedule. And non-serial schedule, here some instructions of transaction 1 executed, then we can stop that transaction and execute the some instructions of another transactions. So here context switching is allowed. If context switching is allowed, then that schedule is called non-serial schedule or interleaving of instructions. If we allow, then that is the example of non-serial schedule. But in serial schedule, without break, we execute instructions of the transactions. Means when we complete the execution of one transaction, then only we can start the execution of another transactions. But in serial schedule, some instructions of transaction 1 is executed, then we execute the some instructions of another transactions. After that, again through context switching, we can execute instructions of T1, and in this way we execute instructions of concurrent transactions. So that is the example of non-serial schedule. I hope that you all understood the concepts of schedule and then type of schedule. Hello, Vineet Raj, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Now let me know about this schedule. Suppose there are two transactions T1 and T2 and we write read A, again write A, then read B, write B, and then read B, write B, and again read A, write A. So in this, first this instruction will be executed, read A of T1, then transaction T1 perform write operations over A, and then context switching and T2 transactions perform read operations over B. Then T2 transactions perform write operations over B. Then this is the chronological order of executing the instructions, and then these instructions will be executed, and finally these instructions are executed. So let me know whether this is the example of serial schedule or non-serial schedule. Vineet Raj.
Non-serial.
Non-serial schedule. And example of serial schedule. Read A, write A, then read B, write B. First we execute all the instructions of T1 and then we execute all the instructions of T2. This is the example of serial schedules. Okay. The interleaving is not allowed in this schedule, and this is example of serial schedule. The order is this: first T1 finish, then we start T2. Did you get it? Hello. Vineet Raj. I am audible. Hello. Am I audible or not? Read this sentence. A sequence of instructions that specify the chronological order in which instructions of concurrent transactions are executed, that is called schedule. Chronological means related to time. So here we start from upward to downwards. So first this instructions will be executed, then write instructions, then read instructions, then write, After completing all the instructions of T1, we will start the instructions of T2. So this represents the chronological order in which instructions of the concurrent transactions are executed. Chronological means related to time. A schedule for a set of transactions must consist of all instructions of those transactions. Must preserve the order in which the instructions appear in each individual transactions. Here we have to preserve the order. Here we can't swap. We can't swap read A with write A. So within the transactions, we have to preserve the order. Okay. So must preserve the order in which instructions appear in each individual transactions. So this is the definition of schedule. There are two types of the schedule: serial schedule and non-serial schedule. Okay, let me know if there are 3 transactions. Let me know how many numbers of the serial schedules. If there are 3 transactions, then please let me know how many numbers of the serial schedule we can find here. First one is order T1, then T2, then T3. In this order, we can execute 3 transactions. First, we will finish the T1, then we will start T2, and then after the completion of T2, we will start T3. So this is a serial schedule. Second serial schedule is first we execute T1, then T3, then T2. So please let me know the number of the serial schedules which we can make if there are 3 transactions. If the number of the concurrent transactions is 3, then how many serial schedules we can make?
Sir, factorial of 3.
Good, factorial of 3. 6. Then
Yes,
again
sir.
T2, then we can take T1, T3, then T2, T3, T1, again T3, T1, T2, and T3, T2, T1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if number of the transactions n, then we can make factorial n serial schedules. Okay. So this type of the objective type questions may be asked in the GATE examination or in AKTU examinations. Now I think if there are 4 transactions, then number of the serial schedules factorial 4. Now let me know if there are n1 instructions in T1 transactions and n2 instructions in T2 transactions and n3 instructions in T3 transactions. Then please let me know the number of non-serial schedules. कितने non-serial schedules बना सकते हैं? Suppose this is general question. If there are n transactions and number of the instructions in T1 transactions n1, number of the instructions in T2 transactions N2, number of the instructions in T3 transactions N3, and in Tn transactions Nn. And total number of the transactions is N. Then please let me know the number of non-serial schedules. This is N1 plus N2 plus N3 N factorial of this and divided by factorial of N1 into factorial of N2 into factorial of N3 and then factorial of Nn. Okay. Then this is the total number of the schedules, and if we subtract number of the serial schedules and number of the serial schedules factorial n, then we will get number of the non-serial schedules. Did you get it? Hello, Vineet Raj.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this problem is related to mathematics. Suppose we have this schedule. So here we can make non-serial schedule like this: RA, then RB, then write A, then again write B, then here you can write A, then we can perform read B. In this way we can swap the order of the instructions, but within the transactions we have to maintain the order. We can't swap this read A instructions with write A instructions. We have to maintain this order within the transactions. So total number of swapped instructions is N1 plus N2 plus N3 plus N of factorial, and then we will divide by factorial of N1, factorial of N2. Why? Because we have to maintain the order within the transactions. So this represents the total number of the schedules. But as you already know, the number of the serial schedule is factorial n. So we have to subtract factorial n from this expression. In this way, we can find out the total number of the non-serial schedule. Okay. So that's all about schedule. So again, if total number of the transactions is n, then number of the serial schedule is factorial n. And if n1 instructions in the T1 transactions and n2 instructions into the T2 transactions and nn instructions in the Tn transactions, then total number of the non-serial schedule is factorial of n1 plus n2 plus n3 plus plus nn and divided by individual factorial n1 into factorial n2 into factorial n3, then multiplication up to factorial nn, and then we will subtract factorial n from this expression, and in this way we will get number of non-serial schedules. So objective type question related to this may be asked in GATE examination and in AKTU examination. Now second topic is serializability. This is very important topic and every year question has been asked from this topic in AKTU examination and in GATE examination. What is the meaning of serializability? If we have non-serial schedule, okay, and that non-serial schedule is equivalent to any serial schedule after swapping the non-conflicting instructions of different transactions, then that non-serial schedule is called conflict serializable schedule and that process is called serializability. That process is called serializability. And if we get serial schedule of that non-serial schedule without affecting the end result which we obtain from both that non-serial schedule and equivalent serial schedule, then we will say that database will always remain in consistent state. Did you get it? What I am saying, did you get it? Vineet Raj.
Yes, sir.
हेलो, हमने क्या कहा कि कोई भी नॉन सीरियल शेड्यूल है उससे अगर आप क्या कर रहे हो, कोई सीरियल शेड्यूल बना रहे हो और दोनों शेड्यूल से रिजल्ट सेम आ रहा है, तो आप कहोगे कि ये जो नॉन सीरियल शेड्यूल है वो serializable शेड्यूल है और वो ऑलवेज इंश्योर करेगा कि डेटाबेस इज इन कंसिस्टेंट स्टेट. जैसे एक नॉन सीरियल शेड्यूल है T1 T2 and here we write read A, then write A, again read B, write B, then read B, write B, and then read A, write A. This is the non-serial schedule. This is non-serial schedule. Suppose this is S1 and this is the equivalent serial schedule of this non-serial schedule. Then we perform read B, write B, read A and write A. And both schedule, this is serial schedule, okay, S2, and both schedule get same result. End result of both schedule is same. Then we will say that this S1 is a serializable schedule and this process is called serializability. So if we are able to find an equivalent serial schedule which gives the same result as non-serial schedule gives, then this non-serial schedule is serializable and we can say that this non-serial schedule always make our database consistent. Otherwise, database may be and may not be in consistent state. Did you get it? Vineet Raj.
Yes, sir.
After executing both the schedule, if the value of A and B are same in both the schedule, then we will say that this non-serial schedule is equivalent to this serial schedule. और अगर कोई नॉन सीरियल शेड्यूल इक्विवेलेंट टू सीरियल शेड्यूल है तो इसका मतलब ये नॉन सीरियल शेड्यूल अलाउड है. क्यों अलाउड है? बिकॉज ये हमेशा जो है डेटाबेस को कंसिस्टेंट स्टेट में रखेगा. अगर आपको कोई सीरियल शेड्यूल नहीं मिल रहा है तो कोई जरूरी नहीं कि नॉन सीरियल शेड्यूल जो है हमेशा इनकंसिस्टेंट स्टेट में रखेगा डेटाबेस को. कंसिस्टेंट स्टेट में भी हो सकता है लेकिन इनकंसिस्टेंट स्टेट भी मिल सकता है इन सम केसेस. सो गारंटी नहीं होगा कि ये जो है ऑलवेज कीप डेटाबेस इन कंसिस्टेंट स्टेट. और ये जो फाइंडिंग आउट प्रोसेस है इक्विवेलेंट सीरियल शेड्यूल, दैट प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड serializability. Again, there are two types of the serializability: conflict serializability and view serializability. I will explain these two concepts. Now read this sentence: each transaction preserves database consistency. As you all know कि transaction satisfy the ACID properties. Why transaction must satisfy atomicity, consistency, isolation and durability property? To keep database in consistent state. Thus, serial execution of a set of transactions preserves database consistency. As we all know that if we execute transactions in serial order, then consistency will be preserved. So if you have any non-serial schedule and we find out a serial schedule of that non-serial schedule which gives the same result, then we will say that this non-serial schedule always keep database in consistent state. So a schedule is serializable if it is equivalent to a serial schedule. Now we can say that this S1 is serializable schedule. Now different forms of schedule equivalence give rise to the notion of conflict serializability and view serializability. So first one is conflict serializability. किसी को कोई डाउट हो तो पूछ सकता है. ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट जो है टॉपिक है और गेट में जो है 2 मार्क्स के क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. अगर कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर है तो यू कैन इजीली सॉल्व दैट क्वेश्चन वेरी क्विकली. Now, what is the conflicting instructions? So actually in non-serial schedules, there are two types of instructions: conflicting instructions and non-conflicting instructions. If instructions II and IJ of transactions TI and TJ, here there are two instructions II and II belongs to transactions TI and IJ instructions belongs to TJ. II and IJ are called conflict instructions if and only if there exists some data item Q accessed by both II and IJ and at least one of these instructions write queue. This is not wrote queue, write queue. Okay. So what is the meaning of this? If we have two transactions T1 and T2, both transactions are executing accessing same data item. Suppose T1 transactions perform read operations over A and T2 performs write operations over A. Now this I1 belongs to T1 and this I2 belongs to T2. So both belongs to different transactions and accessing the same data item A, and one of them is write operations. One of them is write operations. So let me know whether these are conflict instructions or not non-conflict instructions. Definition is both should access same data item and at least one of these instructions is write operations. So let me know whether these two instructions are conflicting instructions or non-conflicting instructions as per this definition. Vineet Raj. Conflict. And if we write read A and write A, read A and read A, then what about this? There should be at least write operations. And if we write A and write A, then what about this? Both are right, then conflicting instructions. And if we have write A and then read A, then this is also conflicting instructions. So I think that you all understood the concept of conflicting and non-conflicting instructions. Now let me know about this. Whether this is conflicting instructions or non-conflicting instructions. Transactions T1 perform read operations over A and transactions T2 perform write operations over B. Please let me know whether these instructions are conflicting or non-conflicting. Vineet Raj.
Non-conflicting.
Why these instructions are non-conflicting?
Item alag-alag.
Both are accessing different data item. Okay. If one passenger is doing reservation in Kashi Vishwanath and another is doing reservation in Shatabdi, then both are different data item. There should not be any confliction. But if both are trying to access same data item and one is performing read operations and another one performing write operations, then there will be confliction. If both are performing read operations, then there will be no conflictions. But for different data item, there is no confliction. That's why here written, we both should access the same data item Q. So this is the example: read Q, non-conflicting, read Q, write Q, conflicting, write Q, read Q, conflicting, write Q, conflicting. A conflict between II and IJ forces a temporal order between them. If II and IJ are consecutive in a schedule and they don't conflict, their results would remain in the same even if they had been interchanged in the schedule. तो नॉन कन्फ्लिक्टिंग इंस्ट्रक्शंस को अगर आप चेंज कर दे रहे हो ऑन टाइम स्केल तो रिजल्ट में कोई भी डिफरेंस नहीं होगा. सपोज फर्स्ट वी परफॉर्म राइट बी एंड परफॉर्म रीड ए, तो अगर आप जो है नॉन कन्फ्लिक्टिंग इंस्ट्रक्शंस को स्वैप कर रहे हो ऑन टाइम स्केल, देन इन दोनों शेड्यूल के रिजल्ट में कोई भी डिफरेंस नहीं रहेगा. तो वी कैन ओनली स्वैप द non-conflicting instructions of concurrent transactions, and after swapping, if we get any serial schedule, then we will say that non-serial schedule is conflict serializable schedule. If non-serial schedule, after swapping the non-conflicting instructions on the same time scales, we get a serial schedule, and that serial schedule gives same result as non-serial schedule gives, then we will say that non-serial schedule is conflict serializable schedule. Did you get it? What I am saying? Vineet Raj.
Yes, sir.
So in next lecture, I will explain conflict serializable schedule in more detail with the help of numerical problems, and then how we find out whether the given schedule is conflict serializable or not. Actually, numerical problem related to that concept have been asked in the examination. One non-serial schedule is given and you have to find out whether the given schedule is conflict serializable or not. So there is an algorithm through which we can find out whether the given non-serial schedule is conflict serializable or not. In next lecture, I will explain numerical problem related to conflict serializable. Now let me download the attendance, then you may leave the session.